Do you find yourself confused, not knowing if your hair needs protein or moisture? Have you ever asked yourself, what is protein overload? How often should I incorporate protein and moisture into my hair care regimen? By the end of this video, you'll learn the importance of protein and moisture and how to have the perfect balance. Protein, conditioner. Protein or conditioner. Let me calm down before I pull out this ponytail. Hey lovies, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Sharon. Today I'm bringing you my protein, moisture, balance, relaxed hair guide. Whew, that was a lot. For the best relaxed hair tricks and tips, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Also, click the bell so you're notified every time I upload a video, which is every week. Your girl is working hard to give you a video once a week. So join the squad. Before we get started, I need to shout out a subscriber. She has been asking a lot of questions. I need to get my glasses because I'm feeling all studious. It's not reading glasses, but they're super cute and I thought I would put them on. Her name is Kia Rivera. Hey girl, hey. She says, I know the basics of protein and moisture because if you didn't know, I have a rice water video of how I make it and how I use it in my hair. Go ahead and check that out. So I had to do a little digging and I had to do some research, but I did come up with answers to your questions and now I'm gonna present them to you today. So thank you so much, Kia, for commenting, sending you love. So let's get into this video. What is protein moisture balance? Protein moisture balance is a ratio of protein and moisture. So pretty much you want to make sure you have a balanced ratio that your hair doesn't get too much protein and it doesn't get too much moisture. So why is moisture protein balance so important? So this balance is very important for strengthening your hair and protecting your hair. Too much of one or the other and your hair will break. It kind of goes with the philosophy or the saying that too much of anything will kill you. Same thing applies with moisture and protein. It's important because you need moisture and you need protein. Without one or the other, your hair will break off, it will shed. So if you have too much moisture, your hair will break off. If you have too much protein, your hair will break off. You don't need too much of both. You need a balanced amount of protein and moisture. Why is protein important? So protein is important because your hair is actually made of protein. So your hair is made of protein, and when you get a relaxer, if you're relaxed, your relaxer does break down the bonds in your hair. So pretty much it breaks down the protein in your hair, which is why your hair goes from curly or kinky or wavy, whatever, to straight, because the chemicals have broken down the protein in your hair. So you need protein. Protein is important, especially if you're relaxed, because you want to replace the protein that has been taken out of your hair due to the relaxer. So you want to add the protein in so your hair can be strong. Protein allows your hair to be stronger, which is going to allow it to not break off. You need your hair to be strong. You don't want soft, mushy hair. You need it to have that protein. So that's why protein is important. But on the other hand, if you have too much protein, it can be horrible. It can be bad. Too much protein will make your hair extra stiff, hard, and you'll have too much protein, which is protein overload, which can cause breakage to your hair. Why is moisture important? Moisture is important because it's going to give your hair moisture, which is going to give your hair life. It's going to allow your hair to be pliable, to pretty much be resilient. So the moisture is going to keep your hair soft, supple, and elastic. So you want it to be able to snap back. So you need that elasticity in your hair to keep it from breaking. If you have too much moisture, your hair will become soft, mushy, just lifeless. So what are the different forms of protein and moisture? My go-to protein of choice is rice water. I use rice water on my hair, and if you don't know how to make rice water, or if you don't know how to apply it to your hair, I have a video on rice water, so go ahead and check that out. But rice water is my favorite form of protein. And to me, that is a somewhat, it's not intense, but it's not like lightweight. I think it's somewhat in the middle, so it's not too strong, it's not too weak. But that is my protein treatment of choice. Now, I used to use Aphogee 2-step protein treatment, and I use that as well. That's a good protein treatment, but that is intense. Like, that is intense protein. Like, your hair is breaking, like you need a real serious protein treatment. That's what you would use, but that is something you do not use once a week. You do not use that often. Your hair will be dry, brittle, it will break off, it will be a disaster, because that is an intense protein treatment. Another good protein line I like is by Shea Moisture, and it's the Jamaican castor oil one. I love the leave-in conditioner, and they have I think it's a hair mask or a conditioning treatment, one of those, in the shampoo. Now that is a good line to use that will allow you to incorporate protein daily, but it isn't strong, it isn't too harsh, and you can start off with that and work your way up. So that is a good line. So different forms of moisture are, of course, water. Water is moisture, as well as a deep conditioner. You can deep condition your hair. I am a true believer in deep conditioning my hair. You gotta get under the dryer, but that is the most important form of moisture to me. I like to keep it simple. Honestly, I don't do too much, but deep conditioning is by far number one. So you need to examine your products and read what is in your products, and then that way you will know if it's a moisture product or if it's a protein product. If you see protein on the label, that means it has protein in it. It's a protein product. So ingredient number 1, aloe leaf juice. Ingredient number 2, water. School is in session. Now this isn't the 2-step protein treatment, but this is the Aphogee Keratin 2-minute reconstructor. So it adds strength and softness in 1 step, quick and effective against heat and chemical damage. Aphogee. And the first ingredient, is water. But we know this isn't moisturizing because it is keratin treatment. How do I know if my hair needs protein or moisture? So a good way to know if your hair is lacking moisture or protein is to just know your hair in its healthy state. How your hair feels and looks when it's healthy. And you will know that something's off and you need to incorporate protein or moisture. Balanced hair has a shine to it. It feels good. It looks good, but it also feels good to the touch. It feels healthy. It doesn't feel hard, but it feels strong. But it's not dry. It's soft. It's supple. That's when you know you have balanced hair. So you want to know your hair when it's doing good. You want to be like, wow, my hair is amazing. My hair feels great. You can do the strand test. So you need to take a strand of your hair, at least an inch of your hair, and what you want to do is you want to pull it, right? So you want to stretch it. If the hair continues to stretch and stretch and stretch, right, and it's not elastic, it's not popping back into place, it's just stretching, and it keeps stretching and stretching, or if it breaks, then you want to do a protein treatment. So if your hair feels mushy when it's wet, or it feels cotton-like, or it feels gummy, that's when you know that you need to do a protein treatment. So then the opposite. So if you take an inch of your hair and you pull it and it pops and it feels brittle and dry, then you know that you need a moisture treatment. You need to moisturize your hair. If it feels hard and stiff. Dry hair, you need a moisture treatment. How often to use protein and moisture? Okay, so a general guideline of how much protein and how much moisture to use is that you should do twice as many moisturizing treatments, deep conditioning, than protein treatments. So you want to do 2 times as many moisturizing treatments to your hair. That is the rule of thumb, the basic guideline for protein usage. So it just also depends on your hair and what your lifestyle is and what do you do to your hair. So if you are always changing up your hairstyles, or you're just always doing a lot to your hair, always applying heat to your hair, you're getting a relaxer, your hair isn't just in a protective style all day, you do need to incorporate some type of protein once a week. And it doesn't have to be a strong protein. So hold up. When I say protein, I mean a light protein, not a severe protein or a serious protein treatment. You can do just like using products that you would use every day and just see if it has protein in it. So if it says protein in it, go ahead and use it. Your hair needs it. It's a light protein, but nothing too intense. So as you incorporate the mild protein treatments into your hair weekly, you do want to make sure you are frequently adding moisture, but you want to make sure you're giving yourself that moisture as well. Okay, so protein treatments, especially those that are intense and that are deep treatments, or a deep protein treatment, should be done every 4 to 6 weeks. And you should do that sparingly. So you shouldn't do it often, 4 to 6 weeks. And also, like I said, look at your hair and see if you need it every 4 to 6 weeks, because everybody's hair is different. If I use the protein treatment, my rice water, twice a month, and it works for me, it might not work for you, because you might be protein sensitive. So you might not need protein twice a month. Everybody is different. What I would say is to start off slow. And to start off slow and start off with not such a intense treatment. So don't start with just going straight to Aphogee and that's your first protein treatment. I would say first start off with products that have protein in it. So either a moisturizer, a deep conditioner, your shampoo, a styling product, whatever it is, just look and see if it has protein in it, and then I would incorporate that into my regimen and see how that goes. And then I would go into rice water and do my rice water. And if you need more protein, then I would go to Aphogee. But you want to start off slow and start off with a small amount of protein just to see how your hair is going to react. We're going to know our hair, we're going to look at our hair, and we're going to be like, okay, do you need moisture or do you need protein? And then we're gonna go off of that. We're not just gonna do, oh, it's 4 weeks, I need protein. Oh, it's 6 weeks, I need protein. No. With that being said, you have to do it sparingly, because once again, too much protein can cause breakage. Your hair will break off, and that will result in protein overload. And we do not want protein overload. What is protein overload? In simple terms, protein overload is just an imbalance. It's the unbalance of your protein and your moisture, meaning you have way more protein than moisture, and that's protein overload, which is pretty much the protein is coating the strands of your hair, making them hard, dry, and brittle, which is going to cause breakage, and not only breakage but also shedding. So not only will you not have the little pieces when you comb your hair, now you see the little pieces of hair on the floor everywhere, you'll get that, which is breakage, but you'll also get shedding, which is from the root. So it will come, full strands will come out of your hair from protein overload. So signs that you have too much protein in your hair, or you're incorporating too much protein in your hair care regimen, is that your hair is rough, it's brittle, it's dry. Another indicator that you have too much protein in your hair is that your hair is lifeless. Also, it's shedding, it's more prone to tangles. Also, the biggest key, or the biggest indicator of too much protein, is that no matter what you do, I don't care what you do, you're deep conditioning, you have a lot of moisturizers that are water based, like you have oils, like you are really doing your moisturizer, your oil, you're really incorporating that into your hair, and it just won't work. Like your hair still feels like a dry desert. It feels like a dry desert, and it just won't work. I don't care what you do, you're doing intense moisturizing, deep conditions, and it's just not working. That is an indicator that you have too much protein in your hair and you need to stop. Like, don't use any more protein. Stop, girl. Stop it. Protein overload can come from using products that only have protein ingredients in it. So if every product you use for your hair has some type of protein in it, that can cause protein overload. And if you're doing too many protein treatments, that can cause protein overload. Protein overload, you're lacking shine, your hair is lifeless. That is a sign that you have too much protein. But a sign that you have too much moisture is the opposite. So how do you know if your hair is over moisturized? You know if your hair is over moisturized if your hair, when wet, feels soft, gummy, mushy. If it has no structure to it, then you know your hair is over moisturized. What can cause your hair to be over moisturized is doing long deep conditioning your hair for hours, or maybe sleeping overnight with your deep conditioner. I know I am guilty of that. If anything, I think I would be rising way too much because I live for a deep conditioner, but I don't sleep with it overnight. But when I was natural, I would sleep with my conditioner in my hair overnight. So if you're doing long deep condition treatments for hours and overnight, that could be a cause. Another cause is if you're washing your hair, washing and conditioning your hair way too often, too many times, that can cause for moisture overload. If you're using butters and oils a lot, then that can cause for moisture overload. And if you never incorporate protein into your hair care regimen, if you don't use products that has protein, if it says protein anything in it and you don't use it, you're only using moisturizing products, that can cause your hair to be over moisturized. How to recover from protein overload. So how you recover from protein overload is, I heard several different ways to do it. One I heard, and I'm going to link her video down below. I forgot her name, but she had a really good video about protein. It was really good. I'm going to link it down below. But she said that you should soak your hair in water for at least 30 minutes because you want the protein to leave your hair. So you want the protein to come out of the hair strands. You don't want to just keep it in there. You don't want to layer on, say, a deep conditioner on top of the protein. That isn't going to help. What you want to do is get the protein out of your hair. So she said to soak your hair for 30 minutes, and I thought that was different. That's really stuck to me. So I was like, wow, 30 minutes. So she said also to use a clarifying shampoo and to wash your hair 3 times with the clarifying shampoo, and that will help get out some of the protein in your hair. And with that being said, the clarifying shampoo is going to dry out your hair. So let's be clear. Once you do that, your hair is going to be very dry. So you want to be ready to have an intense moisturizing deep conditioner to apply to your hair after that. So of course you want to incorporate deep conditionings often to your hair. You also want to use moisturizing shampoos and conditioner. Try to stay away from sulfate, and you want the ingredients of your shampoo and conditioner, you want the first ingredients the first 2 ingredients to be water, because water is moisturizing. You want a water-based product to add moisture to your hair, especially when you're recovering from protein overload. So you want moisturizing products you're using in your hair. You want to eliminate any protein products with protein in it. You want to stay away from that. Because you also want to stay away from heat. You don't want to apply too much heat to your hair because heat also dries out your hair as well. So you want to limit your heat usage. You want to trim those ends. We want to trim any dead ends. You want to make sure you're keeping your hands out of your hair, so you don't want to manipulate your hair too much. You just want to let it be, so maybe let it stay in a protective style. You want to make sure you're sleeping in a satin bonnet or a satin head wrap, some type of protection for your hair when you sleep. Also, going back with moisture, when you're moisturizing your hair, you want to make sure you also are moisturizing your hair, but you're also sealing that moisture in with some type of butter, some type of oil, so like a shea butter, coconut oil. You want to make sure you're sealing your hair, sealing that moisture in so it can stay in and you can retain the moisture. So all of those steps will help you with recovering from protein overload, but it can take a while for you to recover, but you just have to be consistent. How to recover from moisture overload. Do the complete opposite of what you would do if you had protein overload. So you're going to incorporate more protein into your hair care regimen by using products that have protein in it, products that use the words reconstructor or strengthener or add strength. Those are the products you would use. Also use rice water and incorporate products such as Aphogee to add more protein into your hair. Protein moisture balance is so much deeper than what we thought. I know for me, I thought that all hair types, no matter if you're relaxed or natural, that you needed to do a protein treatment and a moisture treatment every time you wash your hair. And that's what I did with my hair in the past. So every wash day I would do rice water and a deep condition. But I've learned that not all hair is the same, which I should have known, like, duh, Sharon, like, not all hair is the same, obviously. So you don't need to do what works for one person won't work for the other person, as we all know. So just because you do your protein treatment and your deep condition treatment the same day every 2 weeks does not mean that your hair is balanced. It doesn't mean that at all. It really does depend on your hair and your hair type, which is why it's so important to really take the time to just look over your hair, look at your strands, do the strand test. Just feel your hair when you're washing it. How does it feel? And it will tell you what you need to know and what you need to do. You can't just base your hair off of what I say or what somebody else says. You really do have to take the time to get to know your hair. So it's not about being consistent, and it is about being consistent because you do want to make sure you're doing the necessary steps, but you also want to just make sure you're doing what your hair needs. So that was the number one lesson for me as I did my research on protein and moisture. I'll have down below all of the videos or articles I've read to gather my information for this video. They'll be listed down in the description box below if you want to do your own research or if you want to read over what I found. So that is my protein moisture balance guide for relaxed hair. Comment down below and let me know how often you do a protein treatment and a moisture treatment. We need to know. We want to know. Let us know. Wait, it's not over yet. Okay, so don't leave. Check out these videos next on more relaxed hair content. If you like this video, give a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe. Share with a friend, and I'll see you in the next